Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to deal with a toilet issue. So basically we have an issue where our toilet continues to run. So it runs to the point where even when you lift the float, it won't shut off, the water keeps running. So we are going to replace that float with a new one, and we're going to take you along and show you how we're going to do that, because if we don't, the toilet just keeps running and we keep using more water than we need to. So it's not a flap issue. So sometimes if it runs and then stops and then runs and then stops, then that's probably a flap issue where the flap's letting some water through it. And your flap might be bad. And you might just need to replace the flap. But ours just continuously runs and runs and runs no matter if you lift the float or not. So that's why we know it's this. Okay, so plumbers are great for a lot of things. I don't mess with a lot of plumbing. I don't mess with piping, repiping things or whatever. But this is something you can definitely do on your own. It's definitely a do-it-yourself type of thing. So step one of this, we really want to get as much water out of this as we possibly can. So we're going to shut the valve off at the main location and flush the toilet. And so I did that. And then, if you look, the water should pretty much be down fairly low, right? Then we're going to take a shot back, and I'm going to shot back the rest of the water out of there. That way we get as little water in that as possible, so we have the least possibility of leaking when we remove this. So then there'll be a little bit of water in this line yet. So the water's still off, and I'm disconnecting the line from here, so you can see that the line's disconnected, right? There'll be a little bit of water, so I have a little piece of Tupperware there and a towel. Make sure we don't get the wood really super wet here. You don't want that to happen. So I did that, and so now we're disconnected completely from the water, and we want to remove what's this piece, the old piece of this. We want to remove that from the toilet. So there's basically a plastic ring underneath here. We're going to remove this plastic ring, which will take that whole piece out from the inside of the toilet. Okay, there's better tools for this for sure. If you have a adjustable, basically pliers that has long needle nose on them, that's better than this. But this will work for it because I don't really care about if I damage this one because I'm removing it entirely. So it should, the other one you should hand tighten on according to the instructions. Okay. So this is the old broken one that we're taking out, and you can see on the bottom now, this was the nut that we took off of it. It was secured underneath. Okay, so the new filter basically the fill valve that we got is a Corky. The Corky one, which makes it really kind of nice, is it's adjustable. So the Corky has the ability to adjust up and down based on the height of the inside of your tank. So you can go shorter, which you can see from here to here is the height. Or you can go way up here if it's longer, if you need your float to be higher. So it's nice. So what I did is I'm just going to pull my float out, and I'm going to basically look at the height. Well, I'm a little bit high, so I'll go in one. And that looks about right. So we're going to put it back in. And so obviously the reason why you want to shop back out as much water as you can out of there is because of this. You can see it's completely flush, which it needs to be, but the water will just pour out of there if you do not. Okay, so I'm putting the new fill valve in, and you can see that basically what I'm going to do is this already was on here. You can see it's got basically a two-tiered where it sits in really tight, and then the nut that comes, it says this side up, right on the nut. You can't really see it, but it says that. Basically, the reason is it wants to go into that, you want to tighten into that bevel right there. So that's what we're going to do. And all we got to do is put it in the hole, this side up, and they say to hand tighten this. Do not tighten it with a wrench or anything else, because you should be able to crank tight on this with your hand, and they do not want you to break it because it is plastic. And then if you look at the instructions on this, they say that you should have it angled how I have it. You see if it's like this, that's how the angle goes. So I'm just hand tightening underneath. You can't see my hand working on there, but I'm hand tightening underneath there. And obviously you want to get it really, you want to hand tighten it. So you want to make sure it's pretty tight. You don't want it to leak. but you also don't want to over tighten it and break it, which is something I've done multiple times with multiple projects. So the last thing we did here is we replaced this pre-cut line that the builders use, which is this whatever this is, flex tube or whatever, right? We replaced that, which is more prone to issues and leaks, with a heavier duty braided line. So it's brass, it's got brass fittings and things like that to it. So we did that. Then we tightened everything down. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the water back on. I left the Tupperware under it because we're gonna, like, I'm paranoid, so I wanna make sure it doesn't leak for a few days before I call it completely success, but I'm gonna turn the water back on and we'll see how we do. Because it needs to go down at least one more. This is a little high. It definitely floats. So as you can see, we got everything replaced, everything's in, everything's tight. You can see that's good. The water level on the side of our Corky fill valve matches what the height of this is, which is perfect. So now if you flush the toilet, you'll see it goes down and you'll see it drains right to the top of this and completely shuts off. So if you give it a few minutes here. So as you can see, it's going to fill. There's a fill line right to the side of this. If that fill line on the side of this matches this height, it'll be perfect. And we showed you earlier with the Corky how you can make it, you can adjust it up and down for your fill. There you go. Right to the fill line. Okay, so we replaced the fill valve. We replaced the line to make it a little bit better from a standpoint it might leak at a later date. So we replaced those two things. So now it fills in about 55 seconds or so, right to the line it needs to. The toilet water level is at the right height. Everything works the way it should. Before it would run for minutes, like up to 15 minutes, where it would keep filling, keep filling, keep filling. And even when the float valve, you held the float valve up, it would still keep filling. So that valve was clearly gone, didn't work anymore. So that's it. You guys can easily do this. It's a do-it-yourself project. Make sure you follow the steps. We'll put a link below in the description to what we bought, what our float valve is as well. So we'll put a link below. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.